All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get into the news that we're going to talk about, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Finally got myself a nice trim up. You can't see the lines. Yeah, it's just, it's very short, obviously. It's still nicely trimmed up. Got myself a haircut, as you can see. Finally, we've come out of lockdown in Sydney, Australia, and we get to do all the things that we took for granted previously. So I got myself a haircut after almost close to 4 months of lockdown. So I feel so fresh, so light, so relaxed. Yes! Let's get straight into this particular news, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, Frank Lampard, next Newcastle manager, Frank Lampard and Lucien Favre in frame to replace Steve Bruce paper round. This is what's been going around. It's actually was, sort of talked about a couple of days ago, but it's now sort of coming into the frame a little bit more. And the reason why it's coming into the frame is because the Telegraph Football has come out with this particular article, and Telegraph, as you all know, is a proper source. They're not any sort of Mickey Mouse, publications out there, and they've pretty much said the same thing. Lucien Favre and Frank Lampard are the two names under consideration to replace Steve Bruce as Newcastle United manager. Look, at the end of the day, Steve Bruce was always going to go. I can't believe he's still around. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to get sacked by the time this video probably comes live. But let's talk about this whole Frank Lampard situation to Newcastle. We're going to explore every angle. We're going to explore from Frank's angle, from a Chelsea fan's perspective. We're going to check out what Twitter, some of the people are saying about this, and obviously from a Newcastle perspective. Now, let's talk about from Frank's perspective. Frank's probably looking at it going, wow, Newcastle United, new owners, lots of money. He can probably get any players that he wants. He can build a team. And happy days, that's what a manager wants to be backed with a lot of money and can buy any players that he wants. And, he's probably thinking, this is it. I've hit the jackpot. Do you know what I mean? I could do a lot of damage with Newcastle. And he's probably going to get paid very smartly as well. Saudi Arabian owners, they're not going to hold back. They're probably going to give him good money. And Frank's smart, so he's probably going to say, look, if you want me, and I know you guys got new owners, I want good money as well. Because at the moment, if you look at some of the top managers out there, no one would probably take Newcastle right now, unless obviously it's like some ridiculous money. Antonio Conte's name's been thrown out there, but there's apparently been talks in Italy that Antonio Conte has categorically sort of already said that he's not going to accept Newcastle United's proposal. They're 19th in the Premier League table, so they've got a massive battle ahead to not get relegated this season, number one. And then they've obviously got aspirations to be in the top four, one day win the Premier League, whatever the case is. May not be next season, may not be the season after, but at least in the next 3 to 5 years, they want to see something happening. So from that perspective, I don't know if there's any top managers out there that's willing to do the hard yards right now. Frank's, he's done the hard yards with us. There wasn't any manager out there that was willing to take us over when we had the transfer ban. Sorry, all along, I kind of thought that, we sacked him, but it was more of a mutual sort of parting way. Sarri actually wanted to leave as well, wanted to go back to Italy and, have that opportunity with Juventus. Whatever the case is, I think the ultimate case was, I think it was a mutual sort of breakup. And then after that, there wasn't any big shot managers that was willing to take us, and Frank took us. So Frank's got this sort of precedent of taking teams that are in the mud and sort of getting them outside on the other end. Now, this is probably why he's rumoured for the Newcastle job, because it's so difficult right now to manage Newcastle. Obviously, Lucien Favre is there, but same thing with Lucien. Why is he going to leave Dortmund when you've got a stellar team like that in Dortmund with Haaland and then, all the other players that they have over there, Jude Bellingham, Thorgan Hazard, Reina, I think that's his name, that American player, Daniel Malin, I think he's another good player. So, and they're in the Champions League as well. So I'm not really sure whether Lucien Favre is going to be, as I said, at the end of the day, ridiculous money is what's going to set the scene. So from Frank's perspective, ladies and gentlemen, he's probably thinking, whoa, this could be a good shot here, good opportunity for him to come back into management and kick things started again. But from my perspective, and before we do that, I just want to quickly show you guys a couple of things. This is another publication, Chronicle Live. They've got a headline saying, aggressive and brave football, but doubts remain over Frank Lampard amid Newcastle link. Over here, they put on a particular quote, which is straight from The Athletic previously. And it says something like this. According, okay, let me just make it a bit more bigger so that you guys can all see this. So let me just highlight that. According to a source who spoke to The Athletic after he was sacked, he also wasn't a great communicator. The problem was the manager didn't talk to the players, only the ones he liked. So he only talked to the guys that he liked. Another source told the same website in perhaps rather more tactful way, the communication of Lampard with the player was not fluent. So now from a Chelsea fan's perspective, right? I personally don't think this is a right move for Frank Lampard. I honestly don't think this is a right move for Frank Lampard. It's a difficult job. Newcastle will have a lot of aspirations, maybe not this season, but even this season, he's going to have a job to get them out of the relegation battle. And then he's probably going to see the sack again anyway. Like Frank Lampard's not going to be the manager, in my personal view, that's going to take him to top four, a Newcastle team to top four, and perhaps push for the Premier League title, go as high as possible in the Champions League, be a powerhouse in Europe. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight or in the next couple of seasons, but I don't see Frank doing that unless they're going to get Frank for like a couple of seasons just to do the groundwork until they can bring someone in. Maybe that could be the scene. But I just don't want Frank to take this difficult job and just get sacked again. And I don't know if he's ready for that. Like, as you've seen those comments, and this was from The Athletic, communication is a bit of an issue. He needs to work on his communication with a bigger squad. And Newcastle probably will get a big squad, deep squad as well down the track with all the money that they have. They probably would want to compete in all fronts. So he's going to have the ability to be able to speak to players that he's not going to start on a regular basis. In-game management, he needs to improve massively. Tactically, he needs to improve massively. There's a lot of facets of managerial situation that he needs to improve, and I just don't think Newcastle's the place for him to do that. I'd rather him go to another championship team, and I know it could be a step down, but that's probably where he needs to kick things off. This Chelsea opportunity that he got previously last season where he got sacked, it came too early for him, honestly. Now when I'm thinking about it as a fan, and I'm thinking that, okay, I was nostalgic, I was caught up in the emotions, but at the end of the day, that particular opportunity came for Frank Lampard a bit too early, in my personal view. So from that perspective, I don't want him to take this particular Newcastle job. Now let's have a look at some of the things that are being said in the social media. So this is what Camalio said off the back of Sam Ingersoll saying 2 former CFC bosses have been linked with Newcastle job with expected Saudi takeover, but who would be better fit, Antonio Conte or Frank Lampard? Two very different managers. And Camalio said Newcastle have submitted a 250 million bid for Chelsea midfielder Mason Mount under the request of new head coach Frank Lampard, which is quite funny. If Frank Lampard puts in a request for Mason Mount. Yunus, as you guys all know from YouTube, a big YouTube star, also very big in social media and Twitter. October 30th, Newcastle versus Chelsea. You just know it's going to be either Frank Lampard or Antonio Conte in charge, don't you? It's incredible. Can you imagine if we end up playing Frank Lampard's Newcastle on 30th October? And this one here from John Bruin, who is a freelance writer, editor, talker, found semi-regular on the Guardian Sport, saying that our person would like to see Frank Lampard manage Newcastle. And this is from BBC 5 Live Sports saying our person would like to see Frank Lampard manage Newcastle. There's actually quite a few people out there that would like to see Frank Lampard manage Newcastle. From a Newcastle, I'm not a Newcastle fan, obviously, but I can imagine from a Newcastle fan's perspective, I'm not really sure how much they would appreciate Frank Lampard as a manager at this point. I think they'd probably take Frank had he had a bit more experience in his hand to tackle this sort of situation. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know what your thoughts are about this particular news. Would you like to see Frank Lampard go to Newcastle? Do you think this is a bad scenario for him. Could be suicidal in terms of his managerial career. Let me know what your thoughts are. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this news. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, see ya.